Star Trek has had quite a few TV shows over the years, but did you know that there are almost as many spin-offs that didn't make it to the small screen? I am Captain Robow, and in this episode of Undeveloped I will be exploring 8 obscure Star Trek spin-offs that never saw the light of day. Number 1. During the second season of the original Star Trek, series creator Gene Roddenberry and Darlene Hartman, writer of unproduced episode Shoal, came up with an idea for a spin-off series entitled Hope Ship, which would have been about the voyages of a Federation hospital vessel. The series would have included Dr. M'Benga, played by Booker Bradshaw, in the regular cast. Despite the series concept never being realized within the Star Trek universe, Hartman later wrote the idea in the form of a novel in 1994. The idea of a medical drama set in a sci-fi setting remains rather underexplored. The only time this concept was explored, that I could find, was in the unrelated TV show Mercy Point. This little-known show premiered in 1998 and lasted for only 7 episodes. Number 2. The final episode of Season 2, Assignment Earth, was designed partly as a pilot for a new series featuring Gary Seven and his ongoing mission to save Earth. Star Trek was teetering on the brink of cancellation late in its second year. When no network chose to order a pilot, the script was reworked to fit into Star Trek as a backdoor pilot for the proposed Assignment Earth series. Reception of the episode wasn't that great, and Star Trek was renewed for a 3rd season, so this backdoor pilot did not turn into a television series. The characters of Gary Seven and Roberta were featured in several stories and comic books though. The plot concept of benevolent aliens secretly helping Earthlings, as opposed to the much more common villain alien scenarios, was later resurrected by Roddenberry for his movie The Questor Tapes. Number 3. NBC briefly considered making a spin-off series centered around the adventures of Harry Mudd, the intergalactic conman featured in several TOS episodes. As the character proved to be popular, Mudd actor Roger C. Carmel only learned of the plans after the project had fallen apart due to lack of time on the part of Gene Roddenberry. Number 4. Shortly after the cancellation of TOS, Paramount proposed a spin-off series centered around the character of Spock, featuring him living on Vulcan with other Vulcans. This idea was turned down by Gene Roddenberry, who Paramount had asked to produce the series. Number 5. Right before the creation of Star Trek The Next Generation, Paramount considered multiple series concepts that were ultimately undeveloped. One of these was a series about a starship that was run by cadets in Starfleet Academy. This series concept was developed by the father and son producing team of Sam and Greg Stranges. It took place in a future where the Klingons weren't enemies anymore but instead allies. The ship would have had a Vulcan captain and a more senior bridge crew, but also younger Starfleet cadets to round out the cast. Number 6. An idea for a Star Trek sitcom featuring Lwaxana Troi was suggested by Gene Roddenberry as a cable TV project for the Sci-Fi Channel in 1991. However, his death and the delay in setting up the channel shelved that. People have speculated that Lwaxana actress Majel Barrett, who was the wife of Roddenberry, had probably been lobbying for the series herself, as people had heard Majel mention that she was very interested in Lwaxana being granted her own show and appearing weekly. Number 7. Around 2000 or 2001, Armin Shimmerman, who plays Quark, and a friend of his devised an idea for an animated series about the teenage years in the lifetimes of the Ferengi Quark and Rom. We got pretty far with that, stated Shimmerman, but in the end, when we got to the last pitch session with MTV, they said that they didn't want a space cartoon show. Number 8. Around 2003, Star Trek The Lions of the Night was a concept by writer Jimmy Diggs to produce a film-era CGI animated Star Trek adventure. He described the plot the following way. Captain Sulu takes command of the USS Enterprise B and must stop a Kzinti invasion of Federation space. Artist Cord Jones created several sketches to depict a new concept of Kzinti that looked more dangerous than they had in the animated series episode The Slaver Weapon, as well as a concept of how the Kzinti assault fleet would look. I am Captain Robow, and these were 8 undeveloped ideas for Star Trek spin-offs. If you found this video interesting and want to see more, please give it a like. Would you have wanted any of these shows to have been made, or is it better that they were cancelled? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to explore more undeveloped concepts like this one, click one of the videos on screen.